very hard to find. And so I thank all of you for being here and really find the parking. And I think that the city needs to make it a little bit friendlier for people that are going to come to the, not only to this event, but all the businesses are going to be impacted if it's hard for the people to get to the business. Because they rather go someplace else where it's easier than tax members to build the businesses that are here. So I would suggest that we think out of the box how to help the people. It could be that you give an hour or 2 hours at the parking lot if it's verified by the business, and they can park for free for 2 hours, and it's right across the street. And you advertise it. It's goodwill for the government, and it's goodwill for the businesses. And I think something should be done. Having said that, which I am constantly complaining, don't you think, Russell?
Absolutely.
But nowadays, nobody complains. Everybody's afraid to say the reality of it. You know, people say, oh, well, welcome to Miami Beach. And
that's what I said.
That's right, that's what you said. And I say, yes, welcome to Miami Beach, but make it better for the people that come here to visit Miami Beach so they come back. We have a wonderful program today. First of all, yes, I forget to thank the Lincoln Road Eatery that they let us have this for free, and it only what we eat what they get. So we encourage everybody to eat, and you're eating because of the candidates. So today, we thank the candidates. Russell should say a few when we don't have an answer, right? So, yes. So now Valerie's bringing here
Birthday boy.
yes, the
Armandito.
Armandito, and it's his birthday. So let's sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Armando. Happy birthday to you.
Many more. I think that you have to say many more. So, happy birthday, happy birthday. Okay. So, let's get to the program. Oh, they have to remind me of everything, because otherwise I even forget I'm on the birthday. Yes, right? 87. What do you want from 87? So, from the mayor, Blake is here. We always come, we always welcome him and are happy to be here. Also today we have Russell Garland, which never comes. So this is an occasion that we have here, Russell. So,
And his daughter, Raquel.
Where's that?
Looking great, Mama Raquel.
So anyway, thank you all. Come on up.
Woohoo!
Our Vicki Lopez. That's my mother's last name. Lopez. It's a very common name, but it is Lopez. Yeah. And so she is our actual tax commission. But there is an election, so she was appointed by the commission as a whole. And now she's running the commission in part. So we want to ask questions. We want to hear what her ideas are. We want to also focus on what she's going to do in Miami. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you so much.
I want to thank Valerie as well. Really, honestly, the Breakfast Club is famous. It is. And I'm grateful to have been invited to speak to you all today. being said, I was appointed in November. So before the November, I was a state representative. And although I did not represent the city of Miami Beach, I did a great deal to help Miami Beach as a state rep. I was in leadership in the Florida House, and so oftentimes when things needed to be done for Miami Beach, the Speaker of the House would ask me to step in and to assist. So I'm actually very proud and privileged today to represent Miami Beach.
Oh, he turned it.
We may have, from time to time, technical difficulties with the speaker. Don't worry, I'll continue to speak. And
From there.
Yeah.
There we go.
TV is going back here.
Yeah, I know, we were trying.
Yeah.
We were trying to get that.
So anyway, let me just start out by saying that my office, and I think it's always interesting, so that you know how diverse my district is, not only am I here on the beach, and remember that I represent everything south of Dade Boulevard, and everything east, and as we go up, it's kind of like a little chimney. It's Pine Tree and then Collins all the way up to 54. Okay, so I have a little bit of Miami Beach Neighborhood Association in the Mid-Beach area, but predominantly I represent what's known traditionally as South Beach. Okay, but I also, on the mainland, represent a portion of downtown, Brickell, the Roads, Little Havana, Shenandoah, and Silver Bluff. So I represent what we know on the mainland as Old Miami, right? So it's the Old Miami neighborhoods, but also the thriving communities of Brickell and downtown. So I am constantly going across the bridge. Sometimes I'm here 2 or 3 times a day, and sometimes I'm in the mainland the remaining part of the time. So it is interesting because the communities are so different. And I say that only because Miami Beach is unique. It really is. My time in the Florida House allowed me to get to know parts of this district today. And it's unique for many reasons, but not the least of which is the historic preservation of not only the structures that are on either the National Registry or on the State Registry, but also on the districts themselves. And so that has required special attention. And I'll give you an example of what's happening today, because it's important that you know that the state, there is a bill that you should know about. It's House Bill 399. It does a couple of bad things. So even though we are on the east side of Miami-Dade County, on the west side is the Everglades. And sometimes people on the east side do not worry too much about what's going on the west side. But in this case, we should be worried. The Everglades is a watershed that helps to protect our water supply. So if you want clean water and you want water in general, we have to protect the Everglades. This House bill does 2 very bad things. The first thing it does, we have what's called an urban, it's called the UDB, right? The urban, there's a line that says, this side is safe to develop, that side is not. Because it's too close to the Everglades and we might impair some of our natural resources. This bill would actually look to remove it so that development could go all the way, who knows where it could stop. But the part that pertains to Miami Beach that is somewhat disturbing is a preemption. So right now you know that you have a historic preservation board. Its job is to ensure that any historic structure is preserved, right? So you can make modifications to it, but the Historic Preservation Board actually is deemed with the responsibility of protecting and preserving our historic buildings and our district. This bill would now not allow them to do their job, right? And this is particularly important if you live in Mid-Beach, because as you know, there is a project that's been proposed that hasn't been heard by the Historic Preservation Board yet, which would put a water theme park near on the Fountain Blue property, right? So that your neighbors that live in that area are very disturbed because, as you can well imagine, they're worried about the increase in traffic, the change in the environment, the impacts on the environment, and also things that will change the character and the quality of life. And this bill says that no local government can even involve itself in any decision if a large destination resort wants to build. Now, that may be impacting what I call mid-beach, but it could come right here to the beach. It could come in the middle of Collins Park. It could come in the middle of Flamingo Park. Anyone would be able to build a large destination resort without the local government being able to even involve itself, to review it, to opine on it, and to potentially stop it. So that, I have been very vocal in opposition to that bill because it's bad on all fronts. So look to see what happens in the next week. So the legislative session will end on Friday. This bill has passed the House, and it's now sitting waiting for the Senate to take it up. And I'm afraid, to be perfectly honest with you, it's either up today or tomorrow on special today. So yeah, so we are hosting a press conference. Your city commissioners are hosting a press conference to talk about this so that people are aware of it if they're not aware of it. So that's a big problem that I've been dealing with already for my residents that live in Mid-Beach, because it's obviously going to directly impact them. But it's things like that that make Miami Beach unique, right? It's a community that deserves to have the quality of life protected. And these are the kind of efforts that happen, that need to have a voice. So as your county commissioner, it's interesting because I have to work with so I have the city of Miami and the city of Miami Beach, right? The only unincorporated area of my district is Fisher Island. So that small island is something that I have to resolve all of their problems. On the beach, as a county commissioner, I have to look to really concentrate on working with your city commission and the mayor, because everything we do has to be done in partnership. So I want to take this opportunity to introduce May Soriano, who is my district coordinator. She is here every day on the ground. Yes. Amazing. You may have remembered her. She worked for the city of Miami Beach. She grew up on the beach, so she knows the beach. And so she's here every day to address any of the issues that you may have. She has office hours at City Hall on Mondays and Wednesdays. So you're welcome to stop by the office, see her, talk to her, but more importantly, call her. If you have any issues, that is her job, is to keep me informed on a daily basis. And I think that's important because sometimes the beach can be forgotten because it's on the other side of the mainland, but not for us. It's important enough that we have presence here. I will be here a lot. I'm normally here 4 or 5 times a week. So you can count on talking to me as well, but I just wanted to let you know that if something comes up and it's urgent and you can't reach me, May has handed out my information cards that allows you to have our telephone number so she can be reached immediately. So let's look at some of the issues that have involved me as your county commissioner, and I think I've been a county commissioner for about 120 days now. I know. Not long, but we've hit the ground running. So one of my biggest priorities is bringing services to the people. And one of the greatest things that happened last week was the tax collector finally opening up an office here so you don't have to cross the bridge to go to the mainland. I'm also looking at potentially getting a supervisor of elections to put an office here as well. So many of my constituents here on the beach haven't changed their address, or need to update their addresses, or want to request an absentee ballot. And you know, the laws keep changing. Elections laws keep changing. And so by the end of this session, I'm going to be able to come back and tell you what the new law is, because there's some identification laws that are being considered in the state that would require you to show proof of citizenship, things like that, that I don't know if they're going to pass. But this week is a very important week in the legislature, because this is the week where all bills will hit the ground running, and we'll see what the bottom line is. And so I want to make sure that my constituents are informed as to what it is that they need in order to vote when they do vote beginning in August. So we'll make sure to get either, and what I want to do is I want to have the tax collector, even though there's an office here, what we've been doing is, I have lots of offices on the mainland in my district. I am bringing their mobile unit to the people. Because even a lot of my elderly constituents can't find their way to the 16th Street office. But we can find our way to them. And that's what I'm hoping we can do here as well. So look to see, every time we do an event, we will try to bring one of the mobile offices, and it doesn't have to be the mobile unit. It can just be that they wheel in desks that have their computers, and you can do all the work you need to do there at your place versus having to, because remember, I have a lot of senior buildings. I have 22 senior buildings in my district. But the most important number, when I was a member of the Florida House, I had 667 condo associations in my district. Today I have 1,087, of which 647 are on the beach. You would be shocked to see, I have a map in my office, because I always map. I think a picture tells 1,000 words. The map
Of South Beach, interestingly enough, looks like Braille. There are so many dots on it that represent condominiums. So that's also
connected. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am connected. Yes, so condominiums is obviously an important part of living in Miami Beach. And so I want to be very engaged in my condo associations, because there's a lot of questions still remaining about the new condo laws that we passed in the legislature. So I want to be there to be helpful to not only condo associations, to the property managers, but more importantly to the residents. We held a town hall meeting at the City of Miami Beach City Hall with the commission. And what I learned was there are many condo owners that have not gotten relief or resolution from the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. So I brought the secretary of that agency to Miami Beach. Her and her team have been here resolving the issues that the constituents addressed during that town hall meeting, so we're making progress. She's also pledged, because I have so many condominiums in Miami Beach, she's pledged to bring a team where we can have one day as a resource, and that team can address everyone's concerns for an entire day at City Hall. So that's going to help. If you don't live in a condominium, you probably are not aware of the number of issues that have arisen, but we are definitely working hard on that. The mayor has also been very, I think, as you know, a proponent of the water taxi. So he and I, because the water taxi goes from the beach to the mainland and from the mainland to the beach. And we're now up to, when it first started a couple weeks ago when I rode the water taxi, there were 800 people using it. Today there's over 1,000 people using it. And it crosses the gamut of people. Some people are using it for work. Some are using it just for, I saw a couple come onto the water taxi with their bikes. They were coming to a bicycle on the beach. And then there are tourists that are using it to come back and forth. So it's beginning to become part of of a transportation network that we're working hard on. So that's another project that I want to look at. And housing is also another project that I want to look at. So most of you know that people who work on the beach, and I'm talking about the people who work in restaurants and in our hotels, so our tourist-related workers cannot afford to live on the beach. And so they're doing a 2-hour commute to the beach. The city is working on affordable housing units I think they are now up to like 1,000 units. So I will work very closely with them in order to help. And this is what I said to the City Commission. The County Commission doesn't have that much jurisdiction on the City of Miami Beach. What it does do, though, is it can be helpful and responsive. So I'll give you an example. I got a call from Commissioner Suarez that we needed to synchronize traffic lights because there's such a, listen, there's like a, it's funny when I talk to Commissioner Steinberg, who you know is my colleague on the county, and she represents everything north of what I represent, right? And one day she was late to get to a meeting and she said, I'm at 41st. Tell them I'm at 41st. It was like code. So I turned to the people and I said, Commissioner Steinberg's on 41st. They said, oh, that's going to be 45 minutes. It's as if you all know the traffic patterns here, right? Very, very true. So, you know, anything that I can do to help in that regard, I sit on the Transportation Planning Organization representing the county. So Commissioner Suarez and I are doing a sunshine meeting, and we're going to try to resolve some of the things that he has seen that needs addressing, because that is a perfect example. If you synchronize lights, maybe the traffic will flow better. So those are things that I'm also working on. And honestly, I've been on a bit of a listening tour, trying to understand how it is that I can be helpful. So I'm working closely with the commissioners, but I'm also working closely with the residents. So last week, I met with Miami Beach United, with South of Fifth, the Miami Beach Neighborhood Association, and one more.
Flamingo Park?
And Flamingo Park, right. Next week I have Collins Park. So I'm trying to get to all of the neighborhood associations as well. In addition to that, I'm very engaged in the Miami Beach Community Health Center, which is, I've met with Dr. Rabinovich, who is the head of that, and I learned a great deal from him as to how many of my constituents actually use that center. So it's important to me to understand what he needs and how I can be helpful in getting it to him. Apparently the building is in disrepair. Half of the building is in such disrepair it's being used just for storage as opposed to providing services. So we have to figure out a way to ensure that the community health center is thriving and able to serve everyone. And lastly, we have, as you know, you may have read that on March 1st, the state legislature decided to change the poverty income level for those that take the AIDS medication. So there are 15,000 people in Florida affected by this change, and it was done within a 3-week notice. So that's like as if I said to everybody who's on a diabetic medication or heart medication, you are no longer, if you are at 400, let me just tell you that the income level was 400% of the poverty line. So if you were at 400% of the poverty line, the state paid for your AIDS medication. Let's remember that not only does it keep people alive, it keeps from the infection spreading. So here's what the state did. It decided to go down to 130% poverty. So anybody above that now cannot get their medication for free. And I hate to tell you, but I mean, and I've been very vocal about this because the increase in infections is hitting Black and Hispanic women. They are the highest rising infection group. So we just have to think about why is that. People may not be on their medication now, and they are spreading the disease. And that's a public health issue as far as I'm concerned. And so I've been very vocal. I've written some editorials, and I will continue to speak out at the commission because we have to oppose things like that that impact those people that live here. And I can tell you, I have the vast majority of the 15,000 impacted across the state in my district. So it's a problem, and we have to be very vocal. And I love the way Maddie said when she started out, you know, people are afraid to speak. People are afraid. I don't know why, but Maddie and I come from the same school of thought. Be direct, be straightforward, and be fearless. And that's what you can depend on me to be. You know, I say it like this, and I try to do all I can to help. So the things that will probably be more, I have to get more involved in is obviously sub-transportation, where county roads are involved and not city roads, and also the Department of Environmental Regulation, which is known by its acronym DERM. So as you know, the county oversees all the environmental protection of all of 34 municipalities in our county, Miami Beach being one of them. So look for me to have to get involved in issues like that, whether it's for development, but I am very involved now in the historic preservation and supporting the board in all of its work. So that is just a few of the things that I've been working on in the last 120 days, and look forward to hearing from all of you, because I want to know what is it that's important to you. And remember, you're the eyes and ears on the ground. I can't be everywhere on the beach, but you are, and I'm grateful for that. Your voices do matter to me. That's why I'm here today, because not only did I want to tell you what I'm working on and who I am, but I want to hear from you. So if it's appropriate, Valerie, we can open it up for questions, comments. We're all here to listen. So Matt, let Maddie you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, we have a hand, 2 hands up, 3 hands up. Valerie. Beverly.
She calls me Beverly all the time. It's fine.
I'm so pleased to see you, and I'm happy to know that you work with Nikki because she's a dear friend of mine. I have 2 concerns. One concern has to do with Miami Beach Senior High, and since you are the person who is over that particular thing, and you talked about lighting, we have a great concern about the turn light on at the school. Parents cannot turn left because it has not been agreed upon that they should be allowed to turn left into the school. That is the drop-off place for all the children, and the people are going left on that light without being allowed to. So they can be arrested, things can happen. It's being brought up all the time at the Quality Education Committee, which you're invited to, which is next Tuesday at 9 o'clock at City Hall. My second concern, and I hope that you help because that's South Beach and Nikki is a little bit up. We contacted Nikki, you know Nikki, but you seem to be the person that maybe can solve that problem. My concern has to do with co-location and Hope schools, and one of our schools, 2 of our schools are in, maybe taken over by the co-location problem, and I want to know what you think about it and what you think maybe you need to do about it.
Could you explain a little bit about co-location?
Do you know, do you want to do it or?
She's referring to Hope Schools that was, so neither the county nor the city were involved in that decision, the state of Florida was. So the state of Florida said that Hope Schools that were coming from New York City were going to be able to use our public schools as their location, right? So they can co-locate with any school. And unfortunately, Beverly, neither the county nor the city have any jurisdiction over it, the school board does.
Let me explain.
Okay, so
Who's Hope?
Which schools?
Okay.
Hope is, let Beverly explain it, because it sounds like she's on top of this issue.
Okay. Co-location is when schools of Hope, which are charter schools that are want to go and spread out. They can go into any school that has a vacancy. By a vacancy, it could be any number of classrooms available. They can set up their own children into those schools. 2 that have a lot of vacancies are Treasure Island and Feinberg Fisher, because kindergarten and under and adults are not looked at as being people of schools. They're completely eliminated, thus giving a lot of space to Feinberg Fisher because it's made up of a lot of adult education and early childhood education. So these schools can go right into that school, and if you have, let's say, a school that has young children, they can bring in their high school children, children who have problems, and actually one of the things that's designated that it should be children who have problems that they're bringing in. And I think it's 70% of the children have to be problematic children. So the beach, one of your schools, which is Feinberg Fisher, is going to be something happened to it. And it is a legislative item, but I thought since you did legislation, you are aware of it. And if not schools in New York, it's any charter school, anyone. So it can come in.
So let me just go a little bit further. So it all started with homeschools. They came to the legislature. This was more of a governor's initiative, and they came and Beverly's correct. If there is space in any school, they can bring the kids. And yes, it's a problem. I have to figure out, Beverly, if I have any jurisdiction in the county, but we will figure this out. We'll figure out who has it. Is it school board? Is it the city? Is it, does this?
I represent one of the school board members, and the school board has come out adamantly against it. Why would they say yes? And not only that, but just on top of that, our schools have to pay for cleaning the schools, the people who serve the food. They get in free, and we have to pick up the cleaning of the schools, the lighting, and everything like that.
But do they get the money for per child that they're supposed to get? If Hope, let me just ask the question. If Hope comes in and brings children, are they going to, is the school going to get the money per child? Who gets it?
The School of Hope. See, she's telling you.
No, because remember that now we have.
So wait a minute. No, don't remember. It's wrong.
I know it's wrong.
It's wrong, and it's very bad. This is the systematic issue that exists nowadays. The poor gets poorer, gets worse education, even though it sounds good. Oh, you're bringing them in so that they get better. They don't get better. Were you on the legislation when this happened?
I did, it was.
And did you vote for it?
I did.
You voted for it.
I did.
Okay, so not realizing that you were damaging the school system.
Correct, because the universal school
How could
choice.
you not realize that it's damaging the school system when the school system doesn't get the money? The school system gets to spend everything. I don't know who's feeding them, if it's the school system or it's Hope. And how could you not even ask the question?
So, good question, Maddie. I did not know that the school wouldn't get the money. I was under the impression that because we have universal school choice, the money follows the child. And wherever the child is, that should be going to the school. That's what we were told. So if it's not happening, then that is a problem. Because we were told it doesn't matter who's in that school, it's approximately $8,500 per child that is paid to the charter school, and they're supposed to then pay the school, or so they told us. But now you're saying, Beverly, they don't pay the school.
No, it's one of our legislative items. It's one of the items from the school board that they're asking that they get paid. That's one of the items.
So you know what? So let's follow up. Let's not just let it die like that. Let's follow up and ask the legislature, why can't the school get the money? We're okay if you have a classroom, but the school has to maintain the classroom. The school has to buy the students their lunch. So why aren't they being reimbursed from the money that goes to the child?
And what teacher does it teach? Is it the school teacher or the school?
No, the charter school.
They bring the child.
They bring the teacher. But I think Beverly brings up a good point. Who's paying for the maintenance, right? Because the structure is still under the school system, right? The public school system.
Right.
So I'm going to find out how they have reconciled this and why they haven't done it this far. Let's
See, what happens is, this goes to the homeroom.
Yes.
And this goes to Tallahassee taking over the homeroom. Now you're going to feel what Tallahassee does.
Yes.
Because you know now you're in a different seat. But when you were there, you were acting, thinking but not asking questions in detail about what was going to happen. The home rule is because people closer to the people better know the problem that the people are having, instead of the people in Tallahassee that never show up. Because did you come here when you were in, I don't remember.
I didn't represent Miami Beach, but I was always in my district.
That's right.
Always.
And,
Always.
And you know, this is an issue. Another question. Somebody else had their hand up.
Armandito, birthday boy. I tried.
All the time. I call the microphone because Harry talks too much sometimes, and I have to take it away from him. So now I hold it, so I don't have to take it away. Go ahead.
Thank you,
Okay,
Harry.
I have two questions, one of which arose while you were speaking. Okay, so how do I phrase this? This is sort of almost a philosophical question, but because it happens all the time. How do you straddle, we the people voted for positions opposite from what you may share until you get elected? That's one. How do you straddle that? How do you serve us according to the way we voted? And number two, what actual, being vocal is wonderful, but legislation supersedes that. What can actually be done to protect those 1,000 condos, which are very vulnerable, and the people in them, elders, disabled people? What is actually being done to protect us?
Okay, so 2 questions. I'll take the condo one first because it's easier. So for those that live in condos who have been experiencing financial difficulties, the county,
It's the future of development that I'm concerned about.
so more condos, I'm sorry, I don't
Leave
understand.
the condos the way they are.
Okay.
No imposition of practices that are unfriendly and bad for the health of the community.
Like, again, it was you that brought forward the fact that a developer can come in and start buying condominiums, and when they hit a certain percentage, then they can take over. Betty, my friend Betty, got pushed out. She won in the court. There were more than one person. I only know her. They won in the court, and now the developer says, I don't have any money, and so she's going to be out of the money, out of the place, out of everything. And she fought that, thinking the American dream. The American dream is to retire. You can live in a house that you own, or now, because everything is vertical, in a condominium. But you brought forward that they can take over. Why did you do that? This hurts the people, particularly the elderly. Yes, they could come, anybody can come and buy, but that one is really hitting everybody.
So the condo law that I passed did not allow for developer takeovers. On the contrary, the law is that there has to be at least 75% of the people. And I will tell you, Maddie, that the condo declaration documents for each condominium actually describe what has to happen. So most of the old condominiums have declaration documents that say 100% have to agree to sell to what we call disband the condo.
Did you ask the question? How many
Yes.
that encompass? How many?
Yes, most every.
Right.
Right. So here's what I've told. Yes, I understand the question. Let me just tell you, I have told condominium boards. I have one in particular in Brickell. They changed the bylaws so no one person can own more than 3 units. People didn't know they could do that. So now I'm telling everybody, get your boards to decide how many people, or how many units can one entity actually own. And they stopped. They can buy them under different names. I understand that.
We need the county to be able to do something. There needs to be legislation with actual consequences so that it's not $100 a day or
But the
something.
state supersedes the county.
I realize that. I realize that. I know that. I know the state is totally messy.
Well, that's the
about
problem.
that.
It's the people that we
So,
elect in the
I
state.
would love to get creative in the way we can do, you know, there must be something.
Listen, I can look into that. I can ask the county attorneys, what can I do within the confines of the law to help protect condo owners? We'll do that. We'll get back to you on that. I think it's important. I think it's very important.
Hey, Commissioner, on the topic of housing and affordability, it's been about 3 years since the Live Local Act was passed and became law in Florida. And at the same time, over 60% of Miami Beach residents are renters. How would you rate the impact of Live Local on Miami Beach, and how would you evaluate it in these past 3 years?
You know, it's interesting. I had a meeting yesterday because the legislation, so two things that I want you to be aware of. The legislation of Live Local was 80 to 120% AMI. The county calls affordable housing 60% to 140. Let me tell you what's wrong with both of those. It's the area median income. The area median income in Little Havana, let's say, is very different than the area median income in Fisher Island. And yet, everybody is charged with the same AMI. So I'm beginning to realize that you cannot judge housing on someone's income as if everyone makes the same amount of money. Because 80 to 120% AMI on the beach is different than 80 to 120% in Little Havana. So I'm hoping to move legislation that removes all of that because it's not fair, right? You gotta look at what's the area median income for one geographical area. You can't say that it's the same across Miami-Dade County because it's not. So it's a misnomer, right? How many people on Miami Beach, for instance, a single person makes $96,000? Because that is the AMI, right? That's not my nurses, my teachers, my police officer, my firefighter, my skilled worker, or my college graduate. Or forget it, definitely not people on fixed income, right? So I think that there needs to be an adjustment made. We have to start looking at what's the AMI for each of the communities and then make a decision what's more affordable. There's also, Matt, the difference between what's known as affordable and what's known as workforce. There's two different definitions and they're not defined. Workforce is not defined in the county's ordinance. We have to define that because the skilled worker, the union worker, like the people that support me say, we don't even make that. We don't even make, we never even get to 60% AMI. So why do we have to have it defined? Shouldn't everyone be able to access safe and affordable housing, whether it's at 30% or 120%? So I think we have to, I've pledged to work on housing because I think it's the most important thing. Everyone has to be able to afford to live in Miami-Dade County, and they shouldn't have to leave. Neither should they have to abandon their homes or leave the county. So look for me to be working on that. Maddie has another question. Follow-up. Give them a follow-up.
On the same question. It is on the same question, so I think that was very helpful to understand, but I'm asking more on the supply side, on the housing availability, the inventory. It's been 3 years. What about, in terms of delivering actual housing units to the residents, the renters on Miami Beach?
So it's interesting. Commissioner Alex Fernandez was working on this when I was in Tallahassee with me, and I think he says the city has got a plan to put more housing inventory here that strikes the delicate balance between historic preservation, the environment, and housing. I don't know what their inventory numbers are, but I know that that's been a big thrust of the city commission. I just don't know how many actual units have been built and how many we need in Miami Beach?
There has been plenty of condominiums and housing that have been built in Miami Beach. The problem being that all the developers, they build very high-end condominiums. And so, you know, that is the big, no, he knows.
He knows.
You know, and there's no way to control it, and that's the city commission issue. The city commission in Miami Beach is not strong enough to curb that problem, because that's the problem of the city, giving away our land, giving away to every developer that comes in, and give them the heights and give them the density, and there's no way. You know why? Because people do not show up. People do not show up because they are afraid. Because code comes. Because police is sent to the house if you say anything. Anything that you say against. Okay? And this is a big problem. So that's the commission. Let me go here. He put his hand up a long time ago. I've been giving him. And then you.
I was to delay that for the next question. But this one. Madam Commissioner, you know that it's vital, the thing with the state represented. What are or have been your experience working with the representative Basabe, and why, and will you commit to working directly with him to support Miami Beach trend and city relationship with the state? That is crucial, because it's the one that have to bring the money to our project.
So the question is, will I work, how has I worked with Representative Basabe in the past, and will I continue to work? So it's very clear, I've always worked with Representative Basabe. There is an unspoken rule that we respect the district representative. So he's always been involved in every meeting that I've ever had that had to do with Miami Beach, because he represents Miami Beach. The other side of that story is, of course, I'm going to not only pledge to work with him, I'm pledging to work with any elected official that represents my constituency. So not to worry. I don't care, the Republican, Democrat,
No party, I don't care about any of that. I care about working together to find solutions.
Where is the money? The money is in Tallahassee, we have to appropriate
Correct.
that money.
What?
Whenever
The money for
we-
what?
For any project that you will need here.
What kind of project?
Ah.
Well, you gotta be more specific when you ask the question.
Yeah. Housing, for example.
No, that's it.
Hi, Commissioner. Thank you so much for hosting. I am a condo owner for 4 years, and I bought a one-bedroom. My kind of, I guess, comment is just that with Sears, this building that I bought is an older building. I moved in during our 50-year certification, so we had already finished our pool. So I had a special assessment when we moved in. Then on top of it, we had a Sears study that had to be done. And now we are prepaying essentially a special assessment moving forward. So we are kind of being forced, obviously, to do work that's going to be done, let's say, in 8 years now. And then on top of that, we have, I'm not sure if you're aware, but they're called ELSS, Emergency Life Safety Systems. We have just massive amounts of financial burden on small condo owners like myself and retirees. And I'm really concerned. Like, I'm young, I have a skill set, a business, so I'm going to be okay. But the residents in my building who I'm on the board, they are on a fixed income. I don't understand how the state or the local government expects us to be able to afford that. Like, I think it's coming in every single direction. I know that there's some initiatives for applying the city's going to allow you to apply for certain loans that don't have interest, but like some of the people aren't going to qualify for that.
So he's talking about the county. It's the county that has a fund that people who make up to 140% AMI, it's pretty high, can apply for up to a $50,000 interest-free loan to be able to pay for any assessments. What you're talking about with the CSRS is really reserves. It's not an assessment. It says in the next 10 years, you're going to have to make these repairs. So you have to start reserving for them so that the money is there when the repairs or the replacement of that structural component is made. Here's what they can do, however. In lieu of reserving, they can take out a credit line. So you wouldn't have that financial. That was part of the last law that I passed to make sure that if you didn't have the money to reserve, just get a credit line in the amount of the CSRS, whatever the CSRS says you need, and you're good to go. So then you just take the loan out when you need it, if you don't have sufficient reserves. So maybe your building, maybe your condo association doesn't know that, but I'm happy if you want to give me the information, we can talk with your condo association board, because they need to know there are options that provide financial relief.
But the thing that would kind of, it doesn't make sense to me that you want us to take a loan for something that we're going to have to pay.
No, you wouldn't be taking a loan. Remember, a credit line is just sitting there, right? You say, look, this is what my CSRS says. I need $10 million in the next 10 years. You get a credit line for that. You're not paying for the credit line until you draw it down. So you'll draw it down when you need to do the repairs, not beforehand.
So the credit line just sits there.
It does. It sits there.
So in 10 years, it's going to be more than
Well,
it
the
says now
repairs-
today. So the credit line might be applied to the fees of today, and in 10 years, at the rate that we're going,
Correct.
it's going to be
You
much
make an
more.
excellent point, Patty, because inflation is going up, right? So your CSRS says we think that we estimate the roof repair will be $1 million. But by the time we get to when you have to do the roof, it might be $1.5 million. We just don't know because inflation keeps going up.
And I think even the city taxes, I've had my condo for 4 years. My taxes were $5,000 when I bought it, and now it's over $7,000. So $500 every year. Literally, I have paid what my condo value has gone up in taxes. Like I've lost all of that money, and I feel like most of the time I'm trying to pay off big bills, it's for these huge taxes that are coming in from the city that, you know, don't make it affordable for young people to live in.
No, I couldn't agree more, and that's problematic with the property tax issue that we have. Hopefully the legislature is going to move something in a special session, and we're going to get some property tax relief, because you're right. Your property values have gone up, and as they've gone up, the assessed value goes up, so do not your taxes. We got to do something about, listen, let's be real. I think we're in a housing bubble. I really do. I know people that paid $250,000 for their home, let's say 10 years ago. Today it's worth $2 million. Do you think that's true? I don't think that that's true. I think that we're assessing value exactly. The land value is driving it as well. I agree. But there has to be something done about how we are assessing property. Because we're assessing it so high, that means your property taxes go up. Is it really worth $2 million? I keep telling the person, it's not worth that. Be careful.
Okay.
She's holding.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. Neighbors, nice to see you again. Kevin Kruger, Vicki Lopez, thanks for being here. I am working on an affordable housing issue that I presented to you in the fall, but I have a different question, and that is, we're in the month of March, which for 2 decades has been notorious for quality of life for residents and even tourists. We have these bad apples that descend upon our city. Last year or two, we broke up with capitalism and those tourists, and now it seems like we're lowering that restriction. How does your office, or does your office, work with our city commission and our tourism board and whatnot in order to rebrand the month of March to aspirational affluent tourists like we did with Memorial Day, that now has a guarantee show that attracts families? What do you think you can do for 3 or 4 weeks of month of March from your office?
So unfortunately, the county does not get involved in the cities, and I know you don't like to hear the spring break, but there are 741 universities on spring break, and a lot of them want to send their kids here. And, you know, I hear from my residents, particularly my elderly residents, that they're concerned that we're now sort of doing a new campaign for spring break. Yes, I hear it everywhere I go. In every senior building, we're hearing, will I be able to leave my building and be safe? I think there's a real concern, right? Because, look, the city's done a really good job of this new wellness campaign, where we're all going to do exercises and all. Let me tell you something. That sounds good. The question is, will the people that are coming here do it, right? Because when you say that spring break is open now, that it's a new campaign, everyone's going to be exercising, everyone's going to be healthy. I got news for you. Seeing some of the people that are flying in with all their suitcases, I'm not certain that they're onto this program. And I think we have to see whether this works or not. Yeah, obviously. You know, it sounds good, and I pray that it is good for Miami Beach. But if it doesn't work, we got to rethink whether there is a better plan for these next 3 weeks. Because let me tell you something, the city's having to close some of the streets. When I was down at South of 5th, and I learned that streets are starting to close at 6 p.m., I said, isn't that rush hour? It is. Already the traffic is bad. So, you know, I worry about it just because I know the inconvenience for my constituents. But I also recognize that if the city's going to do spring break, they got to control traffic and control people. But Lottie,
But you do stand, actually the county does stand, as the state, with police and fire, so you do.
We do
a
send
lot of-
sheriffs.
Yes, you
But
do
remember-
a share of it. I want to give credit to the
Yeah, no,
county
it's
on the
absolutely
share
true.
that they do.
it is true, but remember the sheriff is now a constitutional officer and no longer a department of the county. So she's autonomously, but she is sharing.
Yes, she is good.
No, she is absolutely sending lots of sheriff deputies to South Beach to help the Miami Beach Police Department.
You guys might not remember, but in 2019, Maddie and you all gave me the floor at Ports of Sagua, the original breakfast joint, and I offered fitness solutions. And in fact, now that we're not breaking up with tourists, I'm encouraging our city commission, our tourism board, to do competitions more than fitness classes. So stay tuned, but thank you, because you guys have been such an inspiration to me, as well as the business community, all the gyms, and all the celebrity athletes that choose this community that is part of our culture and this brand. So if I can offer a solution, stay tuned for next spring and the year following even bigger and better.
He
and
has
safer.
worked very hard on
Safer.
this, very hard. I remember
Thank you,
from when.
Thank you for
I want to turn before we go to something else. I want to ask about the project that you brought up about the constitution of Scotland.
Yes.
At one point, Russell Galvin wanted the clinic to move to a building. Does that building ever happen? No, I don't think so.
And the building, as far as I know, Maddie's question is, remember the Miami Beach Community Health Center was supposed to move to Russell Galvin's new building. It was going to have new location. As far as I know, the city hasn't permitted that project or not.
Well, because he was giving, he was selling the project as a bigger clinic, more modern clinic, and a better clinic. When it turned out, it was a smaller clinic by a few feet, but it wasn't any bigger, smaller. It was not new modern equipment, and it just wasn't panning out. So if he's bringing it up, since I saw him here today supporting you, make sure that the clinic is expanded, because all the people that go there need to go there. Either they don't have insurance or they like it. They're very good doctors there. I know a few of them, of my friends go there because the doctors were exemplary. So I am very skeptical You need to ask the detailed questions.
I will, and in addition to that, it requires an exchange of property, which the county is not clear that it wants to do.
Well,
So
good.
it may not become a reality because the deal has to work for us at the county.
Well, but sometimes, you know, it gets a little fun.
It can be a
You
little
know,
messy.
it
I
can
think
be a little
Maddie is being
And you
honest.
have to be very clear and be able to say no to people that you like. I happen to like Russell personally very, very much. Very much. But I said no.
Yes.
We voted.
No, and you're
That's
an
it.
all-time favorite in more perspective.
Yes.
There you go.
So true.
So, you know, you need to say no. Okay.
Can you comment on what's going on with the homestead taxes?
Yes, I can comment on what's going on with the homestead property tax elimination. So the governor said I want to eliminate them, right? So the House went to work on it, which I was the chair of that committee when I was in the legislature. So the question was, can we eliminate them? The House passed a bill to eliminate them. The Senate did nothing, so you know that means nothing happens. And now the governor is backtracking on homestead. Now he's saying maybe we just add an additional $200,000 homestead exemption. Well, that's not helpful. It's not helpful for the people that need the help. Anyone who's 65 or over, especially those on fixed income, need relief. So look to see what happens in April when apparently the governor's going to call a special session to fix this. But the House said, okay, you said we wanted to eliminate them, we're eliminating them. The one thing that the House did, though, was not eliminate school taxes. And that is a good thing because that's how we fund our school system.
Yeah, but let me talk about, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Abby, go ahead.
But at 87, if I don't put it out, it's gone. You know, the school taxes are the highest taxes. The city send out to the homesteaded $500 to each person to relieve whatever. But the issue with the school system is very high. How could we mold those taxes that would only go to the school system, the actual school system, and not go to the charter school? How could we do that so that we don't have to pay for these charter schools that is the moneymaker? It's a moneymaker. It's like the workforce housing. It's a moneymaker for the developer. The charters are a moneymaker for the people that are running it. So if we only pay for the money that goes exactly to the school system without having to share, that would bring the taxes down very much. And so we need to look at that, and I just came to my mind right now, but for some reason it came to my mind. But I don't know that it's the county who does that. The federal? State. Well, we know nobody in the state is going to do it because they all are lobbied by the strong money. Everybody's lobbied by all the money that we have. So, anyway, I think that's enough. We killed every subject already. Did somebody have? Oh, hold on. No.
Good morning, Commissioner. It was a pleasure working with you the last 3 sessions up in Tallahassee. I had experience. I'm going to flip the script because a lot of things have been talked about education. I just want you to know, I don't know if it's on your radar already, Miami Beach Senior High School is on their 100-year anniversary centennial. There's a lot of events going on to kind of get involved, and we encourage you to reach out to them because it is in your district, only high school in Beach High.
I will be there Saturday night.
Okay, awesome.
Celebrating our Avon. Yes.
Okay. With that,
One last question. One last question.
Totally off script from everything else. Totally off script from everything
everything else that's been asked so far. So you were a state representative and now you're running for commission. What made you change your mind?
So good question. Why did I become a county commissioner? So it's interesting. I was never going to do this, but you know how crazy this is. An open seat came up, and some of the legislative leaders said for Miami-Dade, you should go home, they need you. You've been a really strong voice here, you're fearless, why not go back home? And I honestly fought it. I thought it was good. I said, but I'm okay here.
Were you term limited?
No, I was not term limited, so I gave up.
Who took your place?
It's an open seat now. They didn't call an election, so that election will be in August. But it was, I'm really grateful I did it. I fought it, but I'm grateful I did it because now I'm closer to the people than I've ever been. And that's exactly what I love to do, is just be closer to them.
Has anything changed your mind and on what is done in Tallahassee?
Yes, of course not. Yes,
Okay,
because
would you name it, please?
House Bill 399 that's going to destroy the quality of life on Miami Beach. I mean, there's only so much preemption that can be done before you start to destroy communities.
This is what's happening.
And forget about the argument about home rule. It's about people and their lives.
Yes, but the home rule helps.
It does.
In the
It does.
sense
It does.
that then it shifted the things to come that are hitting the people, really,
Yes.
touching the people, being done by the commissioners, which are supposed to be more in touch with the community.
Right.
And so, with the people. And so it was a good thing. And I think it is a good thing because we could change the commissioners easier than, the state. We never see anybody from the state while they're in the state. Right? Never. And so I want to thank you very much because you stood up to the hard questions.
Okay.
I can give you hard questions.
Listen, that's what I signed up for.
Right. And you answered truthfully and it's good. So thank you very much.
Wonderful day.
Just a quick thing, our next Tuesday morning is going to be on the 31st, and we are having Joe Sanchez, which is also running for the same seat. Thank you.
And I encourage somebody else to run.
Okay, so here